8 o'clock on Fox, you have the upstart Washington Commander, the Cardiac Kids, the team of destiny, David, going up against Goliath. Or is Daniel going into the Lions Den? Because guess what? Jayden Daniels is going to lead the Washington Commanders into the Lions Den to take on the number 1 seeded Detroit Lions. Does that kid Jayden, JD5, have an opportunity to go and shock the world and just add an additional cherry on top of the best rookie season by an NFL quarterback in NFL history? Does Washington have a shot, Griff, or is Detroit simply too good?
Again, we say it all the time. Any given Saturday or Sunday, anybody can win. That's why we play the game. Teams always have a shot because on paper, one team always looks better than the other. And then when you get on out there on the field and you start playing, stuff happens. You get injuries, which we know Detroit has a lot of, and they injury prone, but they continue to figure out how to win. Turnovers can happen. So as far as do they have a chance, you don't make it to the divisional round by happenstance. So that in itself means that they have a chance. Do I think they're gonna win the game? No. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. And here's the thing, man. And I'm just to get to the punch, man. One, Montgomery's back. So you got Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs back again. You got 2,000-yard receivers that's sitting over there in St. Brown and Jameson Williams. And we ain't gonna talk about Laporta and daggone Patrick, who's been showing out here the last couple of weeks. The defense, as broke as it is, it continues to figure out a way to make it do what it do. Now, Jayden Daniels is good against pressure. I mean, again, we went and looked at the stats. He got 114 quarterback grade against the blitz. 12 touchdowns, 1 turnover. But in this particular game right here, I just think it's going to take a team. It's going to take a team to win. And I just don't think the Commanders, I'm sorry, Lord forgive me. I don't think the Commanders as a team has what it takes to go up against Detroit at home. That's just me.
Yeah, you've been hearing it all week. The Commanders are playing house money. They are just happy to be there. They have nothing to lose. Throwing caution to the wind. Every little, proverbial saying that can be used to say that there is no pressure on the shoulders of the Commanders, then they can play free and not have to be concerned about the moment being too big for them. All of the pressure rests on the Detroit Lions side. Yes, all of the pressure does rest on the Detroit Lions side, but the Detroit Lions are the better team, as Griff said. They do get Montgomery back. You do have St. Brown and Williams on the outside. You do have Laporta at tight end that is the equivalent of an Andrews or a Likely for Baltimore. And you have a dual-headed monster in the backfield where both Gibbs and Montgomery can break it. Now, to me, the question for this game it is whether or not Jayden Daniels can play not only phenomenal, but can outdo my man on the opposite side, Jared Goff. He definitely can. I believe that he will. And as you mentioned, turnovers are going to be a part of this game. How do the Commanders stay in the game? It is that Jayden Daniels is using his legs. Austin Eckler is able to be somewhat successful in the run game. And the offensive line for the Washington Commanders is providing Jayden Daniels enough time to get to McLaurin and get to the other receivers that the Commanders have available to them to where they can keep this game to a one-score game. They are going to have to keep up with the Detroit Lions because Jared Goff and that offense will be able to put points up on the Washington Commanders defense. Dan Quinn is an aggressive coach. We know Dan Campbell is the epitome of aggressiveness in the NFL. So the play calling is going to be where we're not going to be conservative. Both teams are going to be going for it on 4th down on a regular basis, regardless of where they are on the field. If I'm beyond my 30, depending on the score, depending on the time left on the clock, and depending on the quarter that we're in, I may be going forward on my side of the field and look for quite a few deep passes from both teams. This is not going to be one of those games where I'm going to try to control the clock and keep you off the field. I'm going to try to put points on the board, and you're going to have to keep up for both teams. I don't think the defenses are going to be are going to have the ability to be very successful. I think both of these teams scored 30-plus points. I am, like you, favoring the home team simply because it is the home team, and Detroit has had this on their mind for 3 years. When they made that turn from that 0-16 to 3-13 and started to gain traction and buying into the Dan Campbell philosophy. And they were a couple of plays away last year from being the NFC representative in the Super Bowl when they lost to the 49ers. So this is the Detroit Lions game to lose. But can Daniel go into the Lions den? Yes, he can, and get that dub. I am so tempted to pick Washington. I want to pick Washington, but I'm going to stick with the Detroit Lions because I got them going to the Super Bowl. So for my Super Bowl pick to be accurate, I'm going to go with the home team, but this is definitely going to be a closer game than many people think. It is the last game or the late game tomorrow night, 8 o'clock on Fox. So buckle up, buckle in, grab your popcorn because you're getting ready to have a show put on for you. Anything else you want to say on this game before we move on?
I just think what made me lean more toward Detroit is Jayden Daniels is the leading rusher for the Commanders, and that's the area that I really think that's gonna hurt. I think if De'Ami Brown show up like he showed up last week, that helps Terry McLaurin out. But I just don't have no faith in their running game other than Jayden Daniels, man. And so I have to get it. If it get into a point where they going back and forth scoring, the edge go to Detroit, hands down. The Commanders got to play a perfect game. They got to play a perfect game and hope that Jared Goff have a game like he had against the Texans where he threw 5 interceptions. That's what they need. That's the only way they'll be in the game. I'm just going to keep it like that.
You have that lead. So you don't have no faith in my Commanders. Your Commanders.
You don't have none either. You didn't pick them.
Hey, give me the points. I'll pick them. Would you be surprised, though? Would you be surprised if the Commanders win this game?
I would, man. The type of season that Jayden, the Commanders have had, man. I mean, look how they won last week, man, with the ball, pop off the goal post. Look at the game against Caleb Williams in Chicago. I mean, look at the game against the Cowboys with 5 seconds left in the game. If a team is destined to probably pull something off like this in this year, in this season, it'll be the Commanders.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I'll be tuned in, man. Hopefully we have an exciting game, a close game that comes down to a last-second field goal by either one of these two teams where whoever has the ball last and wins the game. If it's Detroit Lions, awesome. If it's the Washington Commanders, awesome. I'm just looking for a great game.